All right, let's talk about pancakes. Today, we are cracking the code on a breakfast classic. We're going to dig into the science, the chemistry that makes them so fluffy, and the simple, repeatable formula that will get you a perfect golden brown stack every single time.
You know the feeling, right? You followed the recipe perfectly. You've mixed everything just so. You get the griddle nice and hot, and you still end up with something sad. It's a total breakfast bummer. So what's the deal?
I mean, look at this. It's the tale of two pancakes. Over on the left, that's the goal. That's our standard American buttermilk pancake. It's thick, it's airy, it's everything we want. And then, on the right, well, that's the problem. That's the sad, flat disk that haunts our weekend mornings. The goal of this explainer? To give you the scientific cheat codes to get from the right side of this picture to the left, every single time. So how do we do it? How do we build that better pancake? Well, the secret isn't some old family recipe. Nope, it's in the blueprint. We're talking about a super precise, optimized formula that just takes all the guesswork right out of it.
And here it is. This is the core formula for pancake perfection. Now the real key here is the ratio. 2 cups of flour, 2 large eggs, 2 cups of buttermilk. This isn't just a random list of stuff. This is a carefully balanced system that gives you the perfect structure. This is the recipe that's going to hold its shape and give you that amazing fluff. Think of it less like a recipe and more like a scientific formula.
Okay, but here's a critical point. A great formula is only as good as its parts. And there's one thing that can absolutely sabotage your pancake dreams: old leavening agents. Your baking powder, your baking soda, they are literally the engines of lift in this whole operation. If they're expired, they've lost all their chemical power, and you're just going to be left with a stack of sad, dense pucks. All right, so we've got our formula. Now let's get into the why. Why does this exact combination of ingredients work so well? Well, to get that, we need to meet the key players in the science of pancake structure.
At its most basic, making a pancake is just about turning a liquid into a solid. And these two ingredients right here, they're the architects of that whole transformation. The starch in the flour is like a sponge. It soaks up all the wet stuff, which, by the way, is why you never want to overmix your batter. It makes the flour tough and chewy. But the real heroes, the MVPs of structure, are the egg proteins. They build the actual scaffolding that holds the whole thing together. And this amazing transformation, it actually has a name: coagulation. Yeah, it sounds a little sciencey, but you see it happen every time you cook an egg. It's that magic moment when heat hits those liquid proteins and they firm up, locking into a solid, irreversible structure. This is the point of no return. It's the exact moment your batter officially becomes a pancake.
Now for an ingredient you might think is just for sweetness: sugar. But it turns out sugar is a total secret weapon here. As our source material says, it's key to superior tenderness and that beautiful Maillard browning. So it's not just about flavor, it's about texture and that perfect golden color.
So what's the magic number?
A 1/4 cup. That's it. This is the absolute sweet spot, pun intended, for getting both that perfect tenderness and that beautiful browning. Any less and your pancakes will be kind of tough. Any more and they're going to burn on the outside before they even cook through. Okay, so we've built the frame of our pancake. Now for the really fun part, the chemistry of fluff. This is where we get into the secret of that incredible airy lift.
You know that beautiful rise you see in a perfect pancake? It might feel like magic, but it's pure science. And the best part is, it's a simple, reliable chemical reaction that you are in complete control of.
So here's how it all goes down. It starts with the classic acid-base reaction. The acid in the buttermilk hits a base, like baking soda, and boom, it creates all these tiny bubbles of carbon dioxide gas in the batter. Then when you pour that batter onto the hot griddle, the heat makes those tiny bubbles expand, pushing the pancake up. And that, my friends, is how you get lift.
So, let's put it all together. Once you understand the science behind what you're doing, you really transform yourself. You're not just a cook following instructions anymore. You're more like a kitchen chemist. You're not just hoping for a good outcome, you're engineering one. So what are the big takeaways here? Number 1, start with a precise formula. That is your foundation. 2, remember that it's the egg proteins that build the scaffold of your pancake. 3, don't forget that sugar is a multitasker. It gives you tenderness and that perfect golden brown color. And finally, number 4, the acid in the buttermilk is the key to lift. It's the spark that starts the whole reaction. See, when you really get the science behind a recipe, you're not just a cook anymore, you're a problem solver. You can troubleshoot any dish, you can master any technique, you can create your own amazing stuff. So the real question is, now that you've mastered the science of the perfect pancake, what are you going to conquer next?